down if it's Vlogmas day 15, 9:29 p.m. and you haven't filmed any clips for today. Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen yet again. Today, for me it is December 14th, for you it is December 15th. But I went to Sam's with my parents today and look what was on clearance. This here, it is the 12 Days of Wine Advent Calendar. It was supposed to be for the 1st through the 12th of December. However, I think it doesn't really matter when you open this or like when you start, because the 12 Days of Christmas technically is the 25th till like whatever day in January falls 12 days after that. But I'm pretty excited because since technically I'm a day behind what would be my 12 Days of Christmas, this is like the adult version of my 12 Days of Dunkin'. So what I'm gonna do here, there's like each day has a number on the top. So I'm gonna pop open the first two and see what we get here. All right, first wine of my 12 Days of Wine calendar. Oh, this is a 2019 Cabernet Sauvignon. Oh, of course my zoom is all screwy for this. So this is the first one. And then I don't know if this just got a little popped, but it's making it easier for me to open. This is for day 2, which is today. Oh, it's a white wine. Oh, okay. This is a Chardonnay. You know what? Because I have this here, dry white wine, I am so tempted to make another risotto. I won't. Well, maybe I should and send some for my best good friend and my mom on Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see. I may not drink this today. I'm not typically a huge fan of white wines, but I mean, I'll give it a shot. Ooh, let me get a wine glass. Yeah? How's that for fitting? This one also has a lid, which makes it pretty convenient for someone who's clumsy like me. I think I'm gonna go with the Cabernet for today. I also heard somewhere someone said that 1 glass of red wine is the equivalent to an hour of gym time. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm not gonna deny science. Wow. Cheers, everybody. Nothing like choking on your own spit, I guess. I like this. It's, you know, it's a little on the drier side, but I'm not mad at it. So I'm gonna have some of this here red vino and a little snack because I've had nothing since lunch. It was a pretty filling lunch, but I mean, I should probably have some dinner now. I'll check back in, and then I'm gonna do the video that I was supposed to include yesterday, but I didn't like how it came out. I think because it just wasn't very organized. But I'm going to show you guys and talk you through how I save money on groceries, so come right back. Are you cozy, tiny dog? Today's topic, I actually made notes because yesterday I did not, and I felt like it was just a shambling mess. This is more thought out. I'm gonna talk about how I save money on groceries because, as I mentioned in a previous video, at most I'm making recipes to feed 2 people or feeding 2 people. Sometimes Andrea and I don't eat the same thing, so I try to make it as easily adaptable as possible. But there are some instances that I'm essentially making 1 serving of 2 different dishes. So this is how I don't spend an exorbitant amount of money just buying all kinds of foods. First thing that I would suggest is planning your meals. This is where, when I get off track, I notice because I end up buying so many more ingredients than I need. There are many different ways that you can do this. There are some meal kit companies that will actually post, or you will be able to have access to their recipes. One that is not a sponsor to this video, but that I have used in the past is HelloFresh, and you can find their recipes on their website and then buy exactly what it says you need. The only thing is some of their sauces are just pre-packaged, and they just send it to you. They don't have a breakdown of the ingredients, but for a lot of things you can kind of substitute something else and it'll be fine. Something else is like, I have this book. I honestly couldn't tell you where it came from or when I got it, because this is from when I used to eat meat. When I started only eating chicken and turkey, which was, it's something that I can talk about in another video, but that was part of how I eventually ended up becoming vegetarian. I did have this book because I was living by myself and I wanted to, you know, get as much out of my grocery hauls as I could. So that's definitely something that helps. I'm sure if you have Pinterest, there are plenty of recipes for money-saving meals, stuff like that. So there are plenty of options for things that you can make. Number 2 is gonna be sort of a two-parter, but it's all under the same umbrella, is to only get what you need. For some things this isn't possible. Like if you only need 4 mushrooms, obviously you have to buy a whole carton. But for a lot of things, if you can just get what you need, then that certainly is gonna help you, because then you're not having to buy a lot. Which ties into another point of mine, which is to buy in bulk if and whenever possible. As you all know, your girl loves Sprouts, so that's usually where I will go to get all my bulk items. And it used to be that you could just get a scoop or like a small amount if you needed something. So if you were wanting to get a more expensive ingredient but you don't need, for example, a whole pound of it, you used to be able to do that. Now everything is pre-bagged, so you have to just get, I believe it's a pound or whatever the increment is that it's bagged in. So that's kind of unfortunate for the more expensive nuts, but for most things you're gonna end up spending less per pound anyway than you would if you were to get a pre-packaged thing. So for example, the rice that I use for my risotto, to buy a separate brands pre-packaged, I don't know what the pounds were on it, but it was I think $5 for a bag, and the Sprouts brand, which is just regular arborio rice, was $1.19 a pound. So something like that is definitely going to be an excellent way to help you cut down on costs, because then 1, you're not wasting as much food, but 2, you're only getting what you need, and so you're not having to figure out ways to use something else or letting it just sit and eventually go bad in your fridge. Which leads me to my next point, which is to find multi-purpose ingredients. So for example, things like, I would say carrots, celery, onion, salad mixes oftentimes, spinach, things that you can use in a lot of different ways are going to help you, because if you're having to buy more than you need, you're also stretching that product so that you're using it in different ways. So again, it's not just for one recipe and then it just kind of sits there and has the potential to go bad. You're using it up and you're also stretching your dollar by having to get one product that's used in multiple recipes. Number 4, this is a big one, and this like I could talk about all day long. Broth cubes instead of buying broth is such a lifesaver. So for someone like me, 1, I eat a lot of soup, and 2, I use broth in a lot of different recipes. It's one of those multi-purpose ingredients for me, whether it's for pho or for soups or for really like, even I use it for stuffing, or I used it for stuffing on Thanksgiving. So it's one of those things that I need pretty frequently, so I like to have around at all times. Let me just give you a breakdown on how cost effective broth cubes, and even something like this, which is a more pasty kind of base that you just dissolve in water the same way that you would the broth cubes. But just to give you a breakdown of how much this is going to save you money, let's do some math, which is not my strong suit, but like I said, I could talk about this all day, and it's something that I am very passionate about. I've turned a lot of my friends onto this because it is so much better, not just in terms of cutting down waste, but just the sheer cost of it alone is amazing. For example, this package has 8 bouillon cubes, and each cube makes 2 cups of broth. When you buy the pre-packaged cartons of broth, those are 4 cups each. So this packet makes 16 cups of broth, which if you buy 4 cartons of broth, which is the same amount that this would make, that's gonna run you anywhere from $8 to, I would say, probably like $15, depending on the brand and what kind you buy. Particularly, I've found like chicken broths and stuff, especially if it's a bone broth, those are so much more expensive. But for something like this, for me, these are $2.50 for 1 packet. Sometimes even less if you can find them on a really good sale. So I always keep them stockpiled, but I honestly couldn't tell you the last time I bought broth, and it is so much more cost effective, and you're not having to waste the carton or anything like that. You just boil some water and dissolve the cube in there. It's excellent. 20 out of 10 would recommend to absolutely anyone, especially if you're cooking for families, because if you're having to buy a lot of broth, it can get pretty expensive. So number 5 is something that I don't necessarily do as much for me, but it does sort of apply to both of us because Andrew and I do have 2 different diets. So what I will do a lot of the time is shop according to the sales, which sort of connects to planning your meals, because if you're shopping on the sales, that'll sort of connect to, if it's on sale, maybe it will be in a recipe that you're gonna make for that week. So I know, because I do our grocery shopping, what is and isn't a good price on meats for Andrew, berries for me, or really anything. So for example, like when chicken's on sale, then I'll make sure to get that, and then we also will freeze any of the extra, so that way we're making use of it, and then whenever I need it, just take it out of the freezer, and then we're good to go. Also right here, I'm gonna show you guys, this is in the Sprouts app, and this is the sales paper for the week. You typically can see, they used to do double ad Wednesdays, which is where they would have 2 weeks worth of sales in the same day. They don't do that anymore, so now there's a new sale every Wednesday, which is why Wednesday has now become my shopping day. So what I like to do is Tuesday night I'll go through, I can't see the sale for next week, but this is the one for this past week, and I'll sort of plan out what we need, what's on sale, if that fits in, or really if we don't need anything, like I've said before, if there's something that's on a great sale, then I will go ahead and get it, especially if it's a dry good or something that's gonna keep for a while. That way I can get it at a better price, but then when I need it, I won't be having to spend that extra money on that product. Number 6 is pretty easy, and sometimes you can find recipes online that are like this, but for me it's just been something that is sort of just using up things that I have in my fridge, and that's to enhance pre-packaged foods. We don't eat a lot of that in this house, just because I make a lot of meals just from scratch, because that's what I'm used to doing. So for example, something I'll do is what I call doctored up ramen, which really that just means I will make a broth with the broth cubes, and then for Andrew sometimes I'll put like sliced filet mignon in there. For mine, usually I'll put like tofu and some veggies, and that way it's a meal that I enjoy and is filling, but is also very budget friendly. And something that I like to do, especially if I'm stuck and I can't think of new recipes, it's a good way to just make use of what we have. Number 7 is one of my big ones, and something that I have learned through a lot of trial and error, and that is to use coupons or the grocery store apps. So the two main stores that I will go to are Albertsons and Sprouts. Here's why. Sprouts for me has a lot of things that I can eat, so that's personally why I go there, and also their sales are usually pretty amazing. But on top of that, they also have coupons, so you can stack coupons with sales prices, which is often how I'll get a really great deal on something. So for example, there was a couple weeks ago that the Skinny Pop popcorn that I like was buy one get two free. That's an amazing deal. Or sometimes they'll do like 2 for $3 for the dairy-free yogurt that I eat. Then in the app I can go through and see, oh, if I have a coupon, then I will also get that money off. So it's just saving even more money and having the pleasure of being at the register and seeing the price and then putting in your coupons, and then it just drops drastically. One of my favorite things of all time. However, you can still get sales prices at Sprouts, but you won't have access to the coupons. Those are separate, and you do have to make an account with them, but it's pretty easy. They always will email me extra coupons as well, like $10 off of 75 or something like that. Albertsons, however, you have to have the app and have an account, and you can enter your phone number when you're checking out. But sometimes they do have really great sales, and also they have a lot of other brands that Andrew really likes that they don't carry in a place like Sprouts. For example, usually they'll do a pretty large sale. Sorry about that, I was running out of space on the memory card. So usually they'll do one really large discount for the week. So for example, a couple weeks ago they were doing packages of cream cheese were 25 cents each. Or they've done ones where you can get a bag of cheese for a quarter, or like a dozen eggs for a penny. It just depends week to week, so that if it's something that we need, I will always get whatever the limit is on that. But just keep in mind, if you do shop at Albertsons or that's somewhere that you're looking to save money, either you have to have the paper coupons that are in their like weekly advertisement, or if you have the app you can clip them digitally, which is what I like to do, because we do get the Albertsons sales paper, but it's just so much easier for me to keep track of it in the app, and then I just put in my number at the register and I'm good to go. And the last thing, which is kind of complicated, but I guess sort of depends on your situation, so this is not for everyone. It works for me in a lot of ways, but I can understand if you don't have the equipment or the time, or there's a lot of different things that can affect that. But something else that I like to do is to make things from scratch if and whenever possible. For me, one of the biggest things, not just because it's something I have to eat a lot of, but because it is very much cost effective is making beans from dry beans instead of buying canned beans. So for example, a can of beans is typically going to be anywhere from 79 cents to $1.29 depending on the brand, what kind of beans it is. It just depends. Whereas you can buy an entire bag of beans for around $2 and it makes so much more. It's sort of in the same vein as the broth cubes. It's something that, yes, you can buy it prepackaged, and don't get me wrong, I always have canned beans in case of an emergency, but I also keep my little shelf full of dried beans just in case I want to make them ahead of time and, you know, have a nice batch of fresh beans. That is how I save money at the grocery store for the two of us. Thank you guys so much for watching Vlogmas. If you like this video, you can like, comment, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. You say good night, sleepy dog. Say bye, everybody. I'm ready for bed. Good night.